We have a challenge. We have this main market where 70% of South Africans live. The average South African spends 3 hours a day in a taxi going from home to work. So that South African, when he gets home or she gets home, doesn't want to travel very far to get a Coke. And we want to make them more available to them. Now that's a big challenge. It's a big challenge because we're starting from scratch in many cases. We're developing our market from the beginning, and it requires a team effort.
The market in South Africa, your high LSM areas, they consume quite high compared to top markets in the world. When you go to low income areas, which is your L&T area, the consumption is half of what you've got in your high LSM area. And it's not a question that people don't love our products. The brand is consistently high across high LSM and low LSM. The question is that historically, we've not serviced that market properly.
We truly believe that there's still a lot of growth in South Africa that we haven't been able to capture. If you look at our market, you will see that the modern trade is pretty much well serviced, with your pickups consumption sitting at around between 450 and 500. So honestly, this growth is fully reliant on the main market. And our growth strategy assumes that if we stimulate activities in that market, we are likely to see decent double-digit growth.
So our strategies for developing main markets are: 1, find more customers, find more outlets, develop more customers.
The biggest challenge, of course, is once you have them opened, can you sustain them? Otherwise, you're going backwards. And I mean, this is no secret that most small businesses don't survive beyond a 2-year period. Some stats would quote 85% of these businesses fail.
Since 2011, Corporate Affairs has worked closely with the commercial team, and this has been very, very important. We have worked together to make sure that we are aligned and getting GrowthLink, who delivers the training on our behalf.
So ABI came to us and they've asked for a solution. What can we design specifically for ABI to make sure that there's a bigger viability survival rate amongst the spaza shops and spaza shop owners? And we then came about designing them Growing My Business, and we first implemented in 2008 to look at the sustainability of spaza shop owners. GrowthLink, then what we've done about 6 months research among spaza shops, what the biggest challenges will be, and we came to realize that although very successful, they will make a living from their small shop, that a lot of the owners lack certain business skills. So based on our research then, GrowthLink designed Growing My Business.
It's a 3-day program that covers general knowledge of business management principles, financial knowledge, inventory management, and also effective marketing. Of course, it is in line with ABI's requirements. The facilitators can speak more than 5 languages, so that it's easier for them to communicate with the customers, to make sure that it's effective communication.
It will focus on business management principles, how to plan properly, how to organize your shop, how to take control as the owner, and certain control activities. Also a lot of emphasis on financial aspects. Now the training has been designed in such a manner that it's NQF aligned. Once they complete their assignments, they are found competent, they will get a certificate of competence.
You must understand their rural community, living with the poorest, amongst the poorest of the poor, and attending the grand stage for graduation is something they'll never even imagine.
We're sitting at 98% of those that have been through the program, submitting their portfolio of evidence and getting accredited. So this is, of course, a big deal for them, for ABI, and I think for the community at large.
On the 3rd day of the training, we ensure that the sales managers interact with the dealers by presenting the local and traditional strategy to ensure that they also leverage on that relationship with our customers.
I-ABI isapota kahle ngoba kunomuntu ozayo apha endlini azothatha i-order straight kum. Uyakwazi futhi ukungichazela ukuthi i-price ehlileyo yeyiphi, uyakwazi ukungichazela izinto ezisespecialini baziziphi.
We've trained young and old customers, the oldest being 84 years old, from Richards Bay, who also was able to complete their POE and now has been accredited, and now they have their certificate. And the youngest, obviously, being 17 years old, from Clarksdorp, who attended the training while they were on school holidays because they do help out, in the family business, being the spaza shop.
And the one thing that stands out for me is we gave a 65-year-old man who had never ever been through any sort of graduation in his life a CETA accredited certificate. The man went to tears, standing up there getting the certificate, and for me it was absolutely fantastic. Doing this is good for the soul, it's fantastic for the community, and making a difference for ABI is extremely, extremely important.
Since we started with the Grow My Business program, I've noticed that customers that have attended the program have been able to grow their businesses. 90% of them have reported increase in sales, and they also have been able to employ more than one person to help them with their business.
I think programs like these tend to uplift communities, and as ABI, we like to touch the lives of people. We know that it filters into their home lives, a lot of them are breadwinners. All the people owning the small businesses are actually driving business units which feed the families. So we as ABI are very passionate that we can give back to the community and develop the skills.
I've been in this shop from 1994 to be exact. And I've been running this shop from home, as you can see. This is my parents' home that I've inherited. A year before last, in 2013, I think it was August the 27th and the 29th. And this was a very good training because it opened my eyes to so many things that I did not know before. And as you can see behind me, I've got a certificate thereof. So I really enjoy what I'm doing now.
This training, it's giving them a sense of pride. Most of these outlet owners do not have any formal education. And because the program is set up in such a way that they can qualify for a formal accredited qualification, it's a big deal for most of them. You must see their certificates, they're hanging on the walls. So that from a personal point of view, from a personal growth point of view, has been great. But secondly, the importance of this is that it has really yielded business results.
Since I attended a training here, humana gore go na le phapano, go na le difference e kgolo businesseng ya ka mo e leng gore go na le difference ka di percentages. Last year ga go swane le this year, ka gore this year business ya ka e gotse ka 90.98%. Ka baka le go bontšha gore training e ke attendileng for only 3 days in Georgia Moholo.
Business yam ndibone ukuthi ikhuphukile emveni koba ndi-athende i-grow up business yase-ABI. Ingisizile esitweni zesiphaza sam nasekwi-coca yakhona. Like into ethe yangisiza kuyo kakhulu zinto ezifana nesitoko ezincane. Ndikhonile ukusikhawunta, ndikhonile ukubona ukuthi i-profit ingayenza kanjani.
Between 2008 and 2014, we've trained about 4,000 customers, and 52% of those customers being female-owned outlets. 98% of these customers have indicated that they were able to increase their sales. 35% of them saying also that they were able to increase their sales to over 20 cases per week when they started only selling about 5 cases a week.
Some of the highlights for Grow My Business has been centered around the growth the small business owners have experienced over the past 3 or 4 years. And we've seen that in the past, from 2008 to 2011, we have driven around 1,180 small business owners to the program. And we have a fair amount of them coming back to give thanks and say how well they've done and how they've grown their business.
The customers really rather take a regishaw. Kabagaleo, the subject level on ABI training, our individual business yaga, usually bill, a role. ABI.
Siyabonga kwaba kwa-ABI nge-training abasenzele yona, abasenzele ukuthi nakwenye into engeyiyongo i-product zabo sikhona ukuthi siyazi profit ukuthi yenziwa njani, sikhona ukufaka izinto especialini, sikhona ukukhuphula kakuhle ama-prices so athobe kahle. Singaba se-small business siyabonga kakhulu kwi-ABI.
Being involved with Grow My Business for me is a personal fulfillment. The journey that I go through with customers, seeing customers grow from level to level and being able to apply the principles that they have learned through the training. And it just gives me so much fulfillment to know that we have done something for somebody that has changed a life, and that is for something that is primarily a livelihood for a family. So for me, it gives me great pleasure.
It gives me great pleasure just to see that we've made, or I'm part of a team that made it possible for people that had no hope, and we're able to turn that situation around and come up with a success story.
Personally, I feel privileged to be working for a company that takes giving back to the community seriously, and also it's seen to be enhancing and changing the lives of other people.
Everything that we do, we try to be quite an integrated, multidisciplinary teams to make sure that we deliver on our key goals. And Grow My Business and Growing L&T, it's an example of how we do things in ABI.
We're very proud of Grow My Business. We have an ambition to get to 250,000 customers. So while 4,000, we're quite proud of that as a big number, we're going to have to ramp it up. We're going to have to get much more aggressive, working with the Coca-Cola Company on their 5x20 program. But we need to accelerate the 4,000. If we can work with other industries, if we can work with SAB, I think that's fantastic, because if we're stronger together and we can get more people trained, then I think Grow My Business will be a great success in the future.